Do what you've been coached to do, what you know how to do, and play with incredible effort every snap. Hey, and for you seniors, make it one you'll never forget.
Let's go.
Everybody got it?
Let's
Let's
go.
get out there.
Let's go.
Let's go get it, man. Let's go!
All right, welcome to the Coach Bryan Moore Show. I'm Margaret Ann Prater alongside Coach Bryan Moore, and this will be a weekly broadcast that's going to air on Wednesdays and on the YouTube channel, on the Hartsville Tigers channel, and then also if you can't make it to Gadsden Friday night, please watch us on the NFHS network. Coach, let's thank our sponsors real quick. We've got Life Church, Agency on Main, Mormac Commercial Real Estate, Peck Funeral Home, Eddie Pruitt Ford, Express Bath, and Coleman Regional Hospital. Coach, we're going to have a lot of segments during the show, so your segments are going to be kind of short.
That's good.
I don't know if you had a hand in that or not.
Everybody probably appreciates it.
We're 9-2. That did not look like a first-round matchup. Survived advance.
Yep.
You know, that's the name of the game. Were the guys tight or nervous at all going into that ball game?
No, I just thought that, first off, they're talented and athletic and gave us some problems and there's some familiarity with us too, so their coaching staff knew kind of our scheme and setup and, Coach Newton and their head coach go way back. So there's some understanding of kind of some scheme stuff and they did a good job, and we gave them life, in the game. And early we had a, stop and we're going to force a punt. We jump off sides and they go for it on 4th and short, get it, then they score. So I think that a lot of that had to do with us, as far as how we managed, early success. We didn't do a very good job. We had a big stop, let them again get going, and then by halftime they were in it, and I thought they were a little bit flat watching them come out of the tunnel and stuff, but boy, they weren't flat towards the middle and into that ball game. So they do a great job there. Those kids have a lot of pride. I mean, they're 7-3, or 7-4 now, and last year they won 9 or 10 ball games. I mean, they're a good team, good program, and they gave us fits. So every playoff win is like that, though. It's never really pretty. This team doesn't really win pretty. No. Just doesn't, and that's okay. And that's who we are. And, we'll scrap and claw, and we've embraced that. And but, again, keep surviving and winning and just see what happens.
Well, and you talk about, and I got to say something about it, we still haven't scored on the opening drive. I don't know that I want us to at this point. Yeah. We've been pretty damn successful. Yeah. We don't. Yeah. But
we'd like to, though. Golly, it'd be nice to have a lead in the game and early. And but yeah, I don't know. We're going to change some things about how we go to Gadsden. I'm sure you'll ask me a question about that, but sort of the travel and how we prepare, and then even the pregame. So how do we go about starting faster as far as, are we doing too much in pregame? Are we? I don't know. Probably the best start that we didn't score on the first drive, but the best start in a game we've had this year was Bob Jones, and it was a shortened pregame.
Right.
So, maybe that's something to look at. So we met about it yesterday in our staff meeting, talked about it a lot, and we're going to continue to look at it.
Okay, and I got one more question before we go to the next week's segment. I want to address something that I saw during the game between your players, and that was when somebody did something good. Like, example, when Marcus Tapscott had that second effort across the line in the 2-point conversion, the first person to get to him was the other Tapscott that plays offensive line, and he was just as proud of him as if he had done it himself.
Right.
And then I watched with Caleb when he got finished. It wasn't just his other DBs; it was everybody around him wanted to celebrate those victories. How important is that in this culture of your football team to celebrate all the victories?
Yeah, celebrating the success of your teammates is massive. It's one of the things that you must have as a program, and it's not easy. By nature, we're all kind of selfish. When little kids are little, they steal toys from each other because they're selfish, right? And it takes our entire lives to sort of break the human nature of being that way, and that's what we're trying to do with teenage boys, and they're starting to do that. I've been really proud of them for that, and that's what it takes. That's all of our teams have been that way, though, here, and we're fortunate that's the type of kids we have, that want to just win, man. Whatever that looks like, just win and find a way. So been really proud of that, but I saw exactly what you did, and we look at that kind of stuff. We look at championship plays together on Sundays, and we talk about it. All our coaches bring that up about, look at this, we kind of almost poke fun at it, like how excited a kid is but it's what's really, really important, and I think it makes us special.
Right. All right, we'll be right back. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show. All right, we're back with our defensive segment. I'm here with associate head coach and defensive coordinator, Coach Burt Newton. And Coach, I'm just going to start and ask and make sure I've got this correct. Do not let the man cut inside when you're in man coverage. Is that the message that you were sending Friday?
That was definitely sent very emphatically. We're a big inside leverage team and make a tough throw. And we, the 2 touchdowns in the first half were direct results of us not doing that. And it was not, we didn't have rookie guys out there. There was guys that have done this for a while and been good at it for a while. And so we were very emphatic. I thought I had done a good job under the tent. When we got to halftime, Coach Cole really took it over. Like worse than me.
That's okay.
Yep.
I'm used to it. You know who I'm related to.
There ain't no doubt.
Does not.
Yeah, not as bad as him, but yes, Still told me love him afterwards, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Interceptions. Boy, were they game changers. Can you talk about the 2 picks we had with Caleb and Jay?
I said Caleb's was, great instincts. He was in man, and but he felt pressure and kind of glanced back, which is a no-no. But he always, anyway, he know, for whatever reason, he knows when to look back and not look back. Most of the time, there was one that he busted late, but it didn't hurt us. But then he caught that thing, and he returned it about, I think, 30-something yards, and of course he got caught by a lineman, which I've not let him off of that one at all.
Oh, did he have a little defense when they literally tried to?
They did rip his face mask off. We got 15 extra on that, so that was good. That was a great play by Caleb, and then the one that Pruitt had was unbelievable. The fact that he went up and got it like he did, and then their best player, 22, was kind of on him. And he kind of made one move and stuck it and went for the touchdown, and we didn't block back. That was my biggest fear, is we were going to, block back and get a penalty, and we didn't. And that was the huge game changer. And then, then Jake Haynes got one on the 2-point play.
That's right.
Defended 22. So those were big time plays in that game.
And then that's who I have written next is Jake freaking Haynes. That's what I wrote down. 13 tackles. Then I look up, and he's on offense. Let's talk about Jake Haynes. How has he done? Let's forget his play on the field. What about as a leader on the team?
Oh my gosh, he's the best. I've joked about it before. Like, my kids, like my boys are like, I'll yell at them and say, like, why don't you be more like Jake Haynes? They'll make fun of me, like, well, I went up and chopped wood this morning because I'm more like Jake Haynes than Jake Haynes is, and whatever it is. And so he's such a great leader. They put him on kickoff return. Not only has he called the ball, but him blocking on that, he literally drives people through the other sideline. And so anything they ask him to do, put him on offense, kick out, block, whatever. And of course on defense, being our quarterback and all that, he's been unbelievable, and so proud of him. And the fact that he doesn't have college offers is insane. Like, these guys need to get on him like right now.
I'm all for it. And grades too.
All that.
Proof. You
Everything.
never have to worry about any
Nope.
of that. Cole Miles, did he play his best game?
No. He had some busts, but man, he also had, I think, 3 sacks, 2 tackles for losses, and called an NFL type of ball on offense with practicing like 3 reps last week, twice. And so he makes big plays, and he plays hard, and is everything you want in a kid. I don't think it was his best game. I think he'd be better because he did have some busts, but man, that guy shows up. He's great.
Well, and then let's talk about the coming week. I don't study film like you guys do, but I was looking at the numbers. Gadsden City played us pretty tough.
Yep.
What do you expect from them the second time around? Do you think they're going to change things up, or do you think they're like, we were this close when we were at Hartselle. We keep Drake Kirkpatrick the whole game. It's a different ballgame. Is that what they're thinking?
I don't know if they'll play him the whole game. They've only targeted him 9 times in the games that we thought that mattered. On our breakdown stuff, now he's going to return every kick if possible, and he's going to play every snap of defense. And I do think that if it's a close game, they're going to put him in there. But I think we got to start number 4, which is Kirkpatrick, and then number 5, and I'm not sure what his name is, but he scored all 4 touchdowns against us.
Yeah.
And so stopping him, they hit 2 wheel routes on us, they hit a slow screen on us, and our system is designed to take that away, and it's been a heavy point of emphasis. So stopping number 5 is probably the biggest thing. Number 27 is a backup running back, and they're featuring him more. He's an east-west guy, he can fly. So keeping him contained, and then but the biggest thing is we can't let people get north and south on us. We got to make them go east and west. And if we do that, we're Hartselle. We're going to run the football. and we're going to get hats on him. Even if we miss him, if we make it go east and west, we're going to hustle the football and get a bunch of hats on him and gang tackle him, and that's kind of the plan.
All right. We'll be right back. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
Hi, I'm Jenny Tankersley.
I'm Dwight Tankersley.
And I'm Rejane Hampton, and we're your agency on Main. Local realtors here to serve you. One of our team members will be more than happy to find you that perfect home. Go Tigers!
Okay, we're back to the Coach Bryan Moore Show with our players of the game, the defensive line. Porter Simmons is missing today, so you guys can talk about him today. So he can't say anything. So let me introduce who's sitting at the table with us. We got Andrew Carroll, Eli King, we got Coach Jerry Fox, and Christian Balding. And guys, I'm just gonna start off with a personality question because I've been curious, and I just thought, I got you guys kind of captive audience here. I can ask you. I worked with football a long time, and some of the nicest players that I met play on defensive line. However, you're the meanest people on the field. Is that true for you guys?
I would say so, especially for me, because I'm a fun-loving guy, like, when you get to know me. But on the field, I mean, not very much.
Oh, and Porter's kind of easygoing, right? Every time I talk to him, just all shucks, yes, ma'am. And then I watch him out there, he's like a man possessed, right? So do you think that stereotype is true?
For Porter?
For all y'all? Okay. I have another question. I watched from the sideline, and let's just be honest here, not calling out the officials or anything. You guys get held a lot, okay? How do you keep your composure during a game when you know they're doing you wrong? And there's not a lot you can do about it, because if you start yelling at the officials, he's going to call something on you. So how do you do that? And Coach, how do you coach them to handle that?
I know they're going to get held. That's just what I tell them. I don't want to hear it. Part of it. It's part of the game. It's going to happen. It's not going to get called. Play through it.
All right, guys, is that what you...
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah. You know it's going to happen. It happens. Just keep playing.
Awesome. Coach, this is a question for you. It seems like every year, your position more than most has had to, the last 3 years, just completely rebuild. I mean, with the exception of Porter, we got all new faces. So how have you done that, and what can you say about the process of that and how these guys are doing this year?
Well, it's all them. I mean, they put the work in. We just coach them. So, they've been receptive, and they work hard, and efforts getting better every week. So, that's the deal up front. It's having, huge motors, being relentless, and they bought into that and got better every week.
Awesome. Who's the best offensive line you guys have faced so far this season? And y'all can all answer.
muscle shows.
Really? Okay. All right. And I want you all, and Coach Fultz, I'm going to get you to answer this one too. Your favorite moment so far this season, and it can be something that happened during practice. It can be something in the game. But when you just look back on the season, what's the one thing that sticks out to you in a positive way?
When I got my first sack of the season, and I walked up to Coach Newton, and he was like, "Yeah, how you like that?"
That's awesome. Okay, Coach Fultz, you want to go?
I thought the Oxford win was awesome. One of the funnest ones I've probably been a part of, come from behind, got several huge stops down the stretch, played, lights out. It was a really fun one for me.
I had a fumble recovery against Austin, and that was really my first time playing in a meaningful varsity game, and just all the guys cheering. It was really fun.
It's awesome. All right, Andrew.
I'd probably say my first sack of the season against Oxford, just getting a clean hit and getting to celebrate with the whole D-line and linebackers. Good feeling.
That's good. If you could play any position besides D-line, what would it be?
Back.
All right. See, Chrissy, you need to check up. Hey, you may be doing it this week. I know Rob's coach knew about it because everybody's swapping around, if I saw you back there with Noah,
I want to tackle me.
I wouldn't say anything. I'd be like, okay. Nothing would surprise me at this point. All right, what you got, Eli?
I'll play QB. I want to sling that thing.
All right. All right, Andrew.
I'd probably say running back. I think it'd be fun to be put in on that goal line package.
Hey, they may throw y'all in a 2-point. You never know.
Put us on that goal line package.
That's right. All right, last question. And I'm interested to see how you guys answer. Who on the team has the best drip?
Drake Borden.
I'm gonna answer last.
I'm gonna have to go Noah Gibson.
Who you got?
I'm gonna have to go with my boy Payne Steele. Shout out to him.
Coach, you got you.
I think it's Coach Tiffin, hands down.
I know that was something there. Let me tell y'all before we go to break. All defenses always answered a defensive player. Now the offensive guys are giving y'all some love, but it's all and the DBs have always named themselves. So at least y'all didn't name yourselves. So, but anyway, well, thanks. Y'all did a great job. We'll be right back. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
This is Shane Odom with Marmac Commercial Real Estate. We approach real estate with our 3I approach: integrity, intelligence, and innovation. To be your full-service real estate company that can handle all your real estate needs, from commercial, such as warehouse, retail, apartments, to land, farms, residential developments, along with houses such as investment homes or your dream home. Marmac Commercial Real Estate has over 15 years experience providing award-winning full-service real estate experience. One team, endless possibilities. Marmac Commercial Real Estate.
All right, we're back with the Coach Moore Show, and Coaches Ballman told these guys to do our offensive segment this week, and I know they're excited to be here. We've got Coach Prater, Coach Lang, and Coach Atkins. And guys, it's been well known that you guys have been fielding players based off of a mash unit, a virtual mash unit. We've got lots of injuries. And then when you look at our playbook from August to today, it's not very similar. So can you tell me, have you guys really enjoyed this process of basically ripping it in half and having to dig through your bag of tricks to find something new? Or has this just been super challenging for you guys?
You want to start? I think it's both. I think it's fun, but it is very challenging. I mean, we spent a lot of time yesterday and again today trying to map out just this week's plan. So, in an ideal world, you're able to do the same things over and over and over with the same personnel, and it's, fun and easy, but it's been very challenging.
No, I agree. It's been very challenging. Just, got to put the guys in the right spot, and that's a tough deal week to week. But, it's really a credit to them for, being positive in this situation. And we talked about it in the quarterback receiver room. It's truly next man up right now. And they've taken a lot of pride into that, and really, really proud of it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely been tough as far as the moving pieces go. But kind of like Will said, it's great when you have the type of kids that we have that are able to piece it together and answer the call and do whatever you ask them to on a week-to-week basis, even when it changes. So,
well, y'all are doing a Coach Moore, and I anticipate my second question because I was going to ask you how the players adapted. I mean, you had your safety looking like Justin Jefferson, dragging toes down there on the sideline, and Coach had said he went through 2-3 reps. Y'all threw him out there. I think he was your leading receiver, right?
Yeah, probably.
And he's your safety. I look up, your linebacker is lining up. I mean, I was talking to D-line. They are totally open to run the ball. That is what they want to do. So, Christian Balding is just gunning for it. So if you want to use him, just borrow him. He's all excited. Lowest offensive output this season is Friday night. Now, was that you guys trying to slow the game down? Because I know we ran a lot. Or was Center Point really throwing that much at you? Were they that good? I mean, it didn't look like a first-round matchup. I'm going to talk to Coach Moore about that. But
it's both. They played a lot of guys in the box. We were trying to run the ball, obviously. But, I mean, it's give and take. I mean, what they do defensively is very unique. It's going to be very different. It was very different structurally than it was some of the things they'd shown on film. So it's a lot of adapting throughout the game. That's why, thank goodness, we got a little bit better as the game went on, especially up front. But to start the game. There was a lot of confusion, hesitation, and so obviously that affects output.
Well, they did a lot of different things in the box that getting lined up late that kind of messes with you. So sometimes that's good and you can hit some big plays when that happens. But on the flip side of that, sometimes they can make some plays when that happens too. So that was part of it, especially early. Then you also look up and there was a play where Rye gets banged up, Lincoln gets banged up, and then Marcus isn't on the field. So really your main guys throughout the year weren't out there. So it was just, again, trying to piece it all together. And it took a little time to do that. But once we figured it out, we handled it okay.
Not to mention, credit to Centerpoint. They've got some really good football players too. And like number 22, for example, those guys are going to make plays. And they did that. But again, our kids answered it and we figured it out and moved forward and found a way to win.
Well, and my next question was about, we were running offense kind of by committee. It was, your best guys out there. Now, when I interviewed you guys earlier in the season, you talked about you had personnel packages. What has that done to those packages you had? Or, did you kind of just say, hey, you? Or have we, what have you guys had to do?
Well, the packages have changed. Some of the people in the pack, we still have personnel packages, but it may not be the same personnel it was 2 weeks ago, a week ago. But it's just like Will was saying earlier, it's all about trying to get the guys in the right position and doing the skills they're best at. One thing, especially with our skill guys, we have skill guys that are better at certain skills than others, and so we want to make sure that we can put them in packages and put them in place where their skill set's really utilized. So it's changing. It's constantly evolving for sure.
Okay, well, let me follow up with that because I teach the same age group. Who on the sideline is in charge of making sure that the correct package goes out at the correct time? If you're changing these guys in and out, how do we not end up with the wrong guy? And I'm not saying they're not well coached, but if you're swapping stuff out and changing it week to week, this is not repetition.
The Coach Tiffin's the main guy getting all those guys together, but it's really a coordinated effort between defense, Coach Tiffin getting those guys. There was times the other night where it was a defensive guy, hey, go line up on the left, run this route, and that's just kind of how we had to handle it. So it's not easy right now, but it is. We just got to make it work.
It's exciting. Okay, I got 2 more questions y'all off the hook. All right, let's go back to August. You have certain players that you knew were going to fulfill certain roles or that you thought would and perform well. So what players are you looking at now that are surprises that you didn't think were going to be big contributors? And not because they weren't playing well, just they hadn't fit. You're talking about the player packages, things like that. Who's come out of the blue that you're like, all right, you do a great job. Who's that going to be?
I think the easiest answer would be some of the defensive guys that have come over. Cole Miles obviously made 2 really massive plays last week. Hopefully we'll continue to do so. Jake Haynes in his limited role doing some blocking stuff as a fullback tight end has had a huge impact. And then the development of some guys that have already been there. Offensive linemen getting better. I'll let Coach Prater talk more about that. But, guys like Chandler Keel, who came from a scout team guy last year to absolutely being a crucial piece for us this year. The development of Stenton Hageman, other guys like that have been really crucial to us.
I think, my guys are obviously Peyton's come over and developed some, and he's done a really good job of handling a lot of what we've asked him to do. Noah Lee going from receiver to quarterback. I was not worried with him playing quarterback at all. He could have been the starter as well. He was right there neck and neck, and we felt like he needed to play receiver to start the year for our team to be the best they could be. And then, I think Trammell is one that hasn't played a ton, but when he does, he's done what we've asked him to do. And sometimes that means he's practiced a while all week and practice, and then something happens injuries-wise, and he's got to go play X during the game. And he's done a really good job of just knowing the offense completely, and it's been big stepping up when we needed to.
Yeah, and I agree with Coach Atkins. Yes, the defensive guys that come over, especially late in the season, giving us a spark offensively. But just the development, like O-line wise, we moved some people from August. Elliott was our starting tackle week 1 or game 1, and by the time we played Gadsden City game 5, he's now a guard. And, shuffling those pieces and finding what skill set are they best at, what gives us our best 5. And it's including those Fs, Stennett and Kill both have different skill sets. And so we kind of utilize them for each play. You'll see that sometimes they're both on the field, sometimes it's one or the other one, and that's really based on what are they the best at doing, and so that we're getting those guys on the field. So,
okay, one final question. I put my players of the week on the spot. I'm going to put you guys on the spot. Up to this point, favorite moment this season does not have to be in a game. Can be practice, can be when off the field stuff, media room stuff. I just want to know which's been your favorite. I mean, if I say take a memory, what you got? You're actually having to use your brains. Yep.
I guess if I'm going to say like a game, it would be Oxford. For us to be, literally running out of answers all the way up till the fourth quarter, and then everything starts clicking and we come back and win the ball game. That was a big deal.
I would probably say Oxford as well. But, that stretch of Gadsden City and Oxford with Landon going out, Noah stepping up, coming up big, some big plays towards the end of that game, and then you combine trying to figure out Oxford, and it wasn't pretty to start, and we come back right at the end. So, that's the 2-game stretch, I guess you could say, Gadsden City to Oxford.
Oxford definitely stands out from being down 14 in the fourth quarter and defense stepping up the way they did to get multiple stops in a row, and then offense doing what they had to do to score. And that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was Noah's first starting game. Just a lot of questions that had to be answered that game. That was huge. I would also really say the Decatur game, just for how ugly it was and how ugly it felt, but our kids still, being tough enough mentally and emotionally to handle it and still figure it out at the end, even with banged up players and guys playing through injuries and missing guys and all the hoopball that kind of went into that week. Just our kids have kind of continually answered the bell with whatever the question was and have handled it really well all year.
You guys did a great job. We'll be right back watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
Peck Funeral Home is owned and operated by folks who live in the same communities they serve. Our employees are the heart of our business. The funeral home proudly employs over 30 local individuals. Currently, the funeral home is managed by Jeff Halbrooks, who has held that position for over 20 years. Our goal is simple and has remained the same now since 1929. Peck Funeral Home strives to provide genuine service from the heart.
Come see us at Eddie Pruitt Ford. We're a proud supporter of Hartselle Athletics.
All right, we're back with Coach Bryan Moore. Coach, we're playing Gadsden City.
Yeah.
When we played Gadsden City, it was already tough. Now you're going to play them again. What can you say about what we're going to face? How are we planning for that? I mean, you're going to be facing somebody you've already seen.
Yeah, it's tough, and it's a juggling act. I've done that a couple of times over the last decade or decade plus, whatever. Played multiple teams. Some we've been good and won the second time. Others we didn't. And so you look back and you reflect. You think, all right, what would I do differently? And all I know to do is, there is no better film than watching yourself play somebody. Even if that was 2 months ago or whatever, it's still so crucial as far as the scheme. And then you kind of know how a kid stacks up against yours physically and stuff like that. Can we actually block him? Well, there's proof, or can we not? There's some proof of that too. So, I think we look at that as a coaching staff, and I challenged our guys. I said, help me with that. What do we need to do to gain an advantage in this game? Because that is something, one of the playoff picture things that I do. I give them a sort of a playoff must, things that you have to do to be successful. And one of the bullet points on there, and this is from Coach McCracken from years ago, it says it's hard to beat a team twice. But, again, I think it's like the elephant in the room. Say we can do that, but we got to play a little bit better. And here's how. And here are the things we didn't do well. And here are the corrections we must make. They had 4 explosive plays in the game, all with number 5, the running back, who's an absolute player. I know, I'm sure Coach Newton talked about him. He's really special, obviously, along with Kirkpatrick, but 4 and 5 are just absolute dudes. They have more. They have a lot of athletes, but those 2 are special players. And so how do we limit those guys, because, obviously we didn't kick the ball to number 4 last time. We found ways, but we got to be better with field position than that. Like, yeah, we don't kick it to them, but we can't give it to them at the 40 or 45 every time at midfield. The field's too short, and they have a kicker that's kicked a 50-yard field goal this year. So, they get to the 35-yard line, they got a shot at it. So, that's something to take into account as well. But we got to limit explosives, understand who they are, and go back and pour over the game. And also, I'll say this too. We're a different team than we were then. Like, Landon played the first half and got hurt at basically halftime of that game. We're very different than we were, and so are they. I mean, they're much improved. If you look at their last 4 or 5 ball games, absolutely crushing people, including Gardendale, who they just crushed in the first round game. So we've got a work cut out for us. We understand. Luckily, we've been there before. We've made that road trip. We're going to make it a little bit different this time. But we're excited again to just be here and hopefully play well and play a little bit better than we did last time.
Okay, I want to ask a question for the mamas that we're wearing mamas. It's flu season, Coach. What are y'all doing? Because you hear it going around. My mother's already made the phone call to me. What are y'all doing to kind of keep the flu? I mean, your team goes down with the flu. Yeah, that's a tough deal, and we got tough kids, and they'll fight through it, if they have to, just like our coaches would. You'd have to be on a deathbed type thing to not make it, and our kids are like that too. We spray the locker room and make sure we talk about it and expose it. My oldest son had a little deal about 2 weeks ago, and I just came in that next day and said, hey, y'all need to be aware that half the 7th grade is out. And a lot of you have siblings and, cousins and stuff that are just be careful, wash your hands, sort of the COVID type protocol, to be honest with you. How much fogging are we doing in there and Lysoling? My mother Lysoled everything in my life. So, if anybody has stomach virus, it was like multiple cans of Lysol in the house or whatever. Yeah, no doubt. Like, this is great. Every time I smell Lysol, I get sick of my stomach, And so we spray the locker room and make sure we take care of them that way. But, our kids, again, are resilient. We're fortunate to have great homes that will, take that into account and make sure that, hey, if the sibling's sick, let's stay away from each other. And if there's one positive out of COVID, we've learned to sort of manage those kinds of things a little bit better than we did before. So, but it is important. We can't have it happen. Well, and then I want to talk one more time about Gadsden City. After the Muscle Shoals game, I manage our social media. I already got a message that they would see us in round 2. I mean, they have had it circled.
Yep.
So how do you keep our team focused and build them up to where they can, because Gadsden's going to come out just too high. But if we can stay patient, we'll get in that ball game.
I think that, sometimes you look at it kind of like Muscle Shoals this year. Sometimes you can get too amped up.
Right.
And I sure hope they do. I hope they're foaming at the mouth and ready to go because, I think sometimes emotions can negatively impact you mentally, and so if you go out there and, I run through a wall or whatever, but you might not be executing the play. You know what I'm saying? And in our level, there is no room for error. When you play guys like 4 and 5 and they play Ralph Fletcher, and some of our guys too, there is no room for error. You misfit something because you're too amped up or you didn't get a call because you're too impacted by the crowd or whatever's going on in the environment, that can negatively impact you as well. So, we talk a lot about, look at Muscle Shoals. Like I said, we're 21-0 in that game. Now, we should have finished the ball game, but a lot of that had to do with their nerves and emotions. We had beaten them 3 times in a row, 2 of those region championship games. And so, I think that hurt them early until they settled in and played. I think we kind of have to use that same thing. The good news is we've been there. We've been to Gadsden. We've been in the second round. We understand what it takes. And so I think our kids will handle that well. I didn't think, you were talking about center point a little bit, and it did have to do with them, but I didn't think we handled that game great. Just because we talked a ton about a new season, and we kept talking about, all this stuff. And I think we might have been too emotional in that game. And so we've been much more cool and collected this week and trying to sort of keep your nerves. You think about Mountain Brook last year, the 3rd round. Boy, I walked out there and you could just feel it. When you walk on that field, it's just like a weight on you. And until you've been there and felt that, it's hard to explain to people. Like they say, oh, it's just another game, but no, it's not. It's not really.
One game.
That's right. And so you feel that like that healthy fear, if managed right, will give you a sense of urgency and clarity for success. But if you don't manage it right, you get foggy and you're dealing with teenage boys that are like bulls in a china shop. You know what I mean? And so they can't deal with that. And so we'll talk a lot about calmness and stillness and just be cool, man. Let's go into the game. Let's operate. Let's execute. Maybe we'll start a little bit faster and just see what happens.
All right. Thank you, Coach. We'll be right back watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
Better is not just a word, it's a vision. And our vision is clear and focused on you. We're helping you get better by being better every day, by seeing what's possible and making it a reality. Investing in facilities because we are fully invested in you. Updating our technology for the better and welcoming exceptional new physicians to our team. Because you get better when we get better.
Looking to remodel your home bathroom? Call Express Bath today.
They were good people to work with. I had no trouble with them.
We always take care of everybody, no matter how big and small.
The team of Express Bath, we do what we say we're going to do.
The highlight was seeing a new shower in a 60-year-old house. It was a great experience.
We're a real company, we're real people, and we love serving real customers.
Call us to schedule an appointment today. Express Bath. We'll bring the duck.
Alabama owned and Alabama loved.
All right, we're back, Coach. Final segment here. Our Eddie Pruitt Ford, Dana McCutcheon fan question of the week. She said we're playing the same opponent twice, and that's always hard. Will we try a different look or go with what we did last time?
You know, I think there are always wrinkles, you know, but at the same time, you know, you just can't get away from who you are. Like when you have so much information, when you've played a team now going to be 3 times in 2 years, you have a lot of information on them. We have every film that they had this year. We watched all their film from last year. Like, we know a lot about their team and program at this point. So you start getting into this balancing act of how much do we do? You know, and I told them last night, I told our staff, we stayed pretty late last night, and I said, look, throw everything on the board and then let's go sleep on it. You know, let's don't cut today. You know, let's get everything up there that we feel like we want to do. And then let's look at it tomorrow and let's say, all right, is this too much? Or how can we accomplish this in a little bit maybe simpler way? And so, you know, I think that's really important. And I think, but you better be a little bit different now because they're going to go and put, just like we have, they're going to self-scout. They're going to look at the big plays that we had. They're going to look at the, you know, the wrinkles that we gave the first game and how they weren't ready for them and how they're going to prepare for them in the second game. So I think you got to use some of those and build on like some of the successes of certain motions or, you know, or certain, you know, run schemes. And, you know, can we play action off of that now? Because that was really good to us. So I think you got to look at all that stuff, and it's a lot of fun. You talking about chess matches now. When you play somebody twice in a year, it becomes an ultimate chess match. And so that's the best part of coaching, in my opinion. The relationships with kids and then the fun of the scheme, I think, is really fun. So we're excited.
All right. Thanks, Coach. We'll be right back.
Come see us at Eddie Pruitt Ford. We're a proud supporter of Hartselle Athletics.